Most of you probably know right now that the global elite have a long history of rigging and fixing elections. Remember, it was Joseph Stalin who once said, "Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything." And it's no secret that today's global elite are doing everything in their power to continue their game of political musical chairs that they hold every 4 years to be limited to vetted and trusted insiders. We're talking about people like Hillary Clinton, who may very well be the next president of the United States if the corporate power brokers get their way, and they usually do. And if not Hillary, well, you can bet it'll be someone on the Republican side of the one-party system who is equally corrupt. The trick is getting all you to believe that you actually have a choice. Now, it's always interesting to take a look at the candidates, especially the front runners, and see how both sides are funded by the very same groups who own 90% of the media. Almost everything you watch, everything you read or listen to on the radio is owned and controlled by only, well, a small handful of these powerful mega corporations. And we just learned, for example, that the TV news networks, CNN and MSNBC, they have lobbyists that are fundraising for Hillary Clinton's campaign. Well, no big surprise there. In fact, a lot of people have started referring to CNN as the Clinton News Network, especially after their presidential debate, which turned out to be a total Hillary love fest, complete with Bernie Sanders coming to her rescue over the deleted email scandal.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
You know?
No, Bernie, you are wrong. Not all Americans are brain-dead liberal zombies. Most of us want justice. We demand justice, and we want the investigation to continue. I wonder if Bernie Sanders, sometimes I think he's trying to position himself as Hillary's vice president. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe that's why he's kissing her ass. Look, they don't want you to think about Benghazi. They want you to move on.org and forget about it. Meanwhile, you can always catch Hillary Clinton on Saturday Night Live, where I guess they say she was pretty funny and somehow was magically able to look about 20 years younger than she really is. I mean, would they CGI her face or something? I think she looks a lot younger right there. And I don't know if you heard about this yet, but CBS has a popular TV series that is based on the real life of Hillary Clinton. It's called Madam Secretary, and this was during her time as Secretary of State. It stars Tia Leone as Hillary's lookalike, a much better-looking Hillary Clinton. And this is a total propaganda series for Hillary. And they even had former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright on the show, playing herself in a guest appearance during one episode. And get this, they actually reenacted a Benghazi-like scenario where the Hillary Clinton character, Madam Secretary, reacted to the situation like a true leader and a national hero. Wow. And don't think for a second that this kind of propaganda doesn't have an effect on the American people, because believe me, it works. There are lots of people out there who have strong political opinions simply by watching movies and television. And when they cast their vote for Hillary, it's because they liked her on SNL, or they learned to trust her on CBS's Madam Secretary. I mean, it's true. That's how it works. And I tell you what, Hillary, she wants you to live in the land of make-believe. She says that Madam Secretary is her favorite show. I bet. She also says that the character who plays the Russian president on House of Cards, well, he is just like Vladimir Putin.
How many of you have seen the last season of House of Cards? I mean, he's a lot taller than Putin, but the actor playing him, based on my experience negotiating with and being with Putin, is right on the money. It's really quite remarkable.
That's what they want you to believe, that TV is reality. They want you in a zombie-like state staring at your TV screen. And why not? It's proven to be very effective. And this goes all the way back to the early days of Operation Mockingbird. By the early 1950s, the CIA already controlled over 25 newspapers and wire services. They had over 3,000 employees engaged in propaganda. And they had journalists working for the New York Times, Time Magazine, Newsweek, the Washington Post, and CBS Television.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We're really talking about intelligence at the highest levels of the U.S. government, setting the broad direction for the nation.
So we know that this has been going on for a long time, and we know that more recently, Obama recruited Sony Pictures and Disney to help control the narrative on ISIS. Obama even going as far as inviting Sony Entertainment CEO Michael Linton to the White House for dinner and cocktails. Here's the WikiLeaks documents, complete with the trail of emails. And the more you learn about this stuff, the more you understand just how easily it is to manipulate the population. That's why when most people go see a movie like Zero Dark 30, they walk out of the theater thinking they just witnessed the gospel truth. Little do they know that the writer for Zero Dark 30 has deep connections to the CIA, and he was recruited by the State Department. Now he's working for HBO and Snapchat to convince us that the U.S. government had nothing to do with the creation and development of ISIS. So it's the never-ending story of U.S. propaganda, psyops against the American people. And George W. Bush used to do it through the use of prepackaged video news releases. Remember that? VNRs. The Pentagon would produce their own news clips and then pass it on to the networks to be run on television as actual, real news stories.
Mr. President, earlier this year you told us you had ordered your administration to cease and desist on payments to journalists to promote your agenda. You cited the need for ethical concerns and the need for a bright line between the press and the government. Your administration continues to make the use of video news releases, which are prepackaged news stories sent to television stations, fully aware that some or many of these stations will air them without any disclaimer that they are produced by the government. Comptroller General of the United States this week said that raises ethical questions. Does it raise ethical questions about the use of government money to produce stories about the government that wind up being aired with no disclosure that they were produced by the government?
There is a Justice Department opinion that says these pieces are within the law so long as they're based upon facts, not advocacy. And I expect our agencies to adhere to that ruling, to that Justice Department opinion. This has been a long-standing practice of the federal government.
Just looking at old George W. sure brings back memories, doesn't it? And I think it's funny how most Bush supporters, they can't stand Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton. And most people who support the Clintons, they hate the Bush family. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. And this may come as a shock to some of you, so get ready. Here it comes. The Bushes love the Clintons. You heard me right. I mean, they are very close friends. They hang out together all the time, and they're family. If you don't believe me, just ask Barbara.
He thinks of George a little bit like the father he didn't have. And he's very loving to him. And I really appreciate that.
So there you go. But does Barbara love Bill Clinton?
I love Bill Clinton.
Okay, so she loves him. That's what she said. And remember, it was George W. Bush who said that Bill Clinton is his brother from another mother. And that makes Hillary Clinton his sister-in-law.
You've often referred to Bill Clinton, and you talked about his relationship with your father and how it developed, and your mother as well, and he's your brother from another mother. What does that make Hillary Clinton to the Bush family?
My sister-in-law.
So these guys are all in it together, and they are in it to win it. Your choice between a Republican and a Democrat is a total fraud. Either way, they win, and the globalists maintain control. That's why a third party is so dangerous to the power structure. They don't want you to have a choice.
Hey, Darren, don't forget about the Bush family connections to the bin Ladens.
I hear you, and it's a lot for some people to digest right now, but I'll even take it a step further and talk about Prescott Bush, who is the father of Bush Sr. and the grandfather of George W. and Jeb. He helped finance Hitler's rise to power. He kept doing business with the Nazis even after the start of World War II, until his bank accounts were finally seized under the Trading with the Enemy Act. Former President George Bush Sr., who was also once head of the CIA, he used to vacation with the bin Ladens. And they are all cozy with the Saudi royal family. And we know that the Saudi Arabian government played a huge role in the September 11th attacks. Google search the 28 pages. So these aren't just crooked politicians. These are crime families.
I love my dad. I'd kill for him. I'd go to prison for him because I love him so much.
That's right, and Bush Sr. and his boys are each individually responsible for the harboring of wanted international terrorist Luis Posada Caliles and Orlando Bosch, who were the two men responsible for the 1976 bombing of a Cuban passenger airliner that killed 73 innocent people.
He had spent the past 13 years in Venezuelan and American prisons. Bosch's relatives say he is in poor health and just wants to spend time with his family. The Justice Department has tried to deport Bosch as a terrorist, but 31 countries refused to take him.
That was Orlando Bosch, and Luis Posada Caliles, he's on vacation right now in Florida, enjoying retirement in the good old USA.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
And that, my friends, is the definition of a true hypocrite. I tell you what, this is how I want to end this segment tonight, with a classic scene from The Godfather. Take a good look, because this says it all.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people. Like a senator or a president.
You know how naive you sound.
Why?
Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
Oh. Who's being naive, Kay?
So are you being naive? Break the matrix, then break your silence and join the InfoWar. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Vote for Jeb, or you're just fucking stupid.
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Join InfoWars Tuesday, November 10th for live debate coverage. Since their last face-off, the GOP candidates have been picketed outside of sketch comedy shows, caught lying about their school records, and others have been banished to the kids' table. What stupid questions await the remaining contenders when they meet again?
Donald Trump, are you a comic book villain? Ben Carson, can you do math? John Kasich, will you insult two people over here?
We have $19 trillion in debt. We have people out of work. We have ISIS and Al-Qaeda attacking us. And we're talking about fantasy football? Can we stop?
Can pundits put aside their disdain for the participants and focus on real issues? How many times can Ronald Reagan be name-dropped in 2 hours? Will someone wear a Hillary for Prison t-shirt? All will be revealed Tuesday, November 10th, starting at 7 p.m. Central, as InfoWars enters into another episode of Political Science Theater 3K.
The Global globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. The key is to be aware of this attack and to fight back against it. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula, sourced from powerful organic herbs, harvested around the planet, and then concentrated for maximum potency. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super male vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super male vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your super male vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.